Hola, thank you for stopping by and thank you for visiting again. We are playing with the light molding paste made by Golden. It is an art supply which has a variety of products for the artists and the hobbyist. This particular molding, it is super fluffy, almost like a frosting light, airy light, and I like it because it doesn't bring too much weight into your canvas, into your projects, and it can be applied to paper, canvas, wood, and any other material. So it will be a fun project for you to experiment. What I'm doing right now, I'm using tracing paper, and the tracing paper has two views, the one that is opaque and the one that is shiny. So I'm using the opaque face down, so I'm actually applying the molding paste on the shiny part. The reason is because I want the opaque to be able to adhere to the canvas. I'm going to be using these small pieces that I'm going to be pasting the molding paste with different patterns and textures, and then I'm gonna incorporate it into a large canvas. And and it's so I want a small pieces. You can use smaller pieces that I'm using or larger pieces, is up to you, or right into your project. This is just something that I'm doing at this moment as a mixed media and experiment, because I do have a class, so I want to make sure that they are able to pass around these samples, and text them. But then I'm going to be using the pieces in my own art. So after I cut the size that I want, because they're coiling, because the paper, the tracing paper, is in a roll, so the shape is still coiling, so I'm putting them under a canvas, but you can use a heavy book or anything that you have around while you're working on the next piece. So one thing that I do recommend, this jar is the larger, 32 ounces, I believe. I will go ahead and check the size. I don't have it with me right now, but they have it a smaller size. And when you remove the cap, you see that I'm scooping every single thing, and then I'm not wasting anything. So I'm using an old spatula, and you can get the old spatulas, from your kitchen, things that you don't want, or the thrift shop or garage sales. So always, try not to mix your cooking utensils with your art supply. So have your art supply separate from them so they don't migrate back to your kitchen. At this particular piece, I'm just looking at for the filling and some texture, and it will stay under high relief. Now, when it is drying, it does take time to dry, so give yourself time. It goes into different stages, especially in the areas that they are thicker. It might seem that it is dry on top, and then you want to put like a stamp or other type of texture, and it can ruin your impression, because it's not hard enough to hold that shape, which that's what happened with my rubber stamp. You're gonna see it on the um, ahead on this video. I'm using the cards, the old cards, that they come in your mail, all that junk mail. Sometimes I recycle it, and they're like a credit card size cards, and I'm making ripples. And this particular exercise is fun because you can actually create a lot of stuff with this particular movement on the paste. You can do shapes from flowers, the petals, and the textures. It's just a whole bunch of fun with the ripples. And on the quantity of the paste that you are using, the molding paste, is up to you. I want it light because I have a plan to paint over, like I said, this small square or pieces that I have. They are going to be breaking down for a mixed media, incorporated in a mixed media. Now this tape, I'm gonna leave the description below where I got it from, and it is semi-tacky. It is almost like a wall, painter's tape. but it is really small, very thin, and it makes it great for working on my projects and for art, isolating sections or creating patterns. So I'm doing, just a couple patterns in here, and I'm going to be applying the paste in there, and then doing different textures. And for textures, you can use nails, you can use wood sticks, you can use, like I said, the cards on the your junk mail, credit cards that you're not using. Make sure that you erase all the sensitive information. These ones are just junk mail. You can use rubber stamps, but like I said, to use the stampings or any kind of pressure embossing, you need to make sure that you leave the molding paste to dry at a certain level, and that is depending on your weather, depending on the area that you are. It might vary. You're gonna have to go with the touch. Don't be afraid of touching lightly when it is drying. Let it dry for a couple of hours, 2 or 3 hours, or longer if it's possible, and then come back and see how is it. When it dries, it has that fluffiness, that airiness in it. So in which that's what it makes the light. They have the heavy molding also, but at this moment we're using the lightweight mold paste. So in here I have some chopsticks, and I'm gonna be just putting some impressions there. And then I have an old clothespin in my left hand, which I'm gonna be using too. And be creative. Don't be shy. Don't be afraid. Everything is okay. You are experimenting. You are playing. I'm using the bottom, but you can use both sides or the side with the lateral side as well. So it's up to you, and you won't know what kind of impressions it can you create with the things that you have around. You don't need to buy anything extra. Just look around, things that tissue paper. What else? The bubble wrap paper also makes a nice impressions in it. Now, I have the little roses on that clear sheet, and that was a failure. So I'm gonna probably edit it from the this video. It didn't come up as I was expecting. I will explain later why. But also in the other side with this molding paste, you can apply the paint to the base itself. So I'm gonna do the basic colors, the primary colors, and then I'm gonna mix it with my brush, which is already an old brush. I'm killing my brushes in here, and now you know why, because I use them to mix my paints and all my um, medias, and I shouldn't be doing that. I know that, but anyways, I should be using my palette knives, but I'm using my brush, my already worn out brush, and you can see it starts up. As you can see, it starts taking that paint very nicely, so you won't have any problems if you wanna go ahead and mix your molding paste first and then apply it to your canvas, or you can apply the molding paste to your canvas and then paint it. Either way, it will work. It's just dependent on the final effect that you want for your piece. Next, I am cutting an old tissue paper that I have in my box of supplies, and this is another material that the molding paste can be adhere. One of the students asked me, and it says, "Well, it won't seep through, or it will disintegrate the molding paste." I go, "Well, this is the test that I did, and for this particular tissue paper, it worked because the paste is stayed on top, making what I mean. It's no there is not much humidity on it to disintegrate the tissue paper, so it worked." So I'm gonna be doing a couple tissue papers with this molding paste, and then using them to apply it on my mixed media collages and things like that. Also, once that it is dry, it is super nice to experiment with the gold leaf, and which that's what it remind me what some of these ripples and textures that they will be super nice with the gold leaf effect. So your imagination is the limit, so it can go on forever. I'm gonna add the red and the yellow next, and these ones are acrylics, and it needs to be acrylics, unfortunately, because that's the main ingredients when they create these products on golden. So I have a couple brands in there, but they're still very very good on the pigments, so they are nice and bright. Also talking about brightness, you can go ahead and mix the pigments directly. If you love the working with powder pigments, you can go ahead and mix them up with this molding paste. So it's up to you, honestly, just to continue experimenting and see what it can bring up. One thing, because it is hot at this moment when I was filming this video, um, it gets very very warm in my garage, so it was drying too fast for me, for my liking. So that's something to take into consideration when you are creating or you're mixing large batch, that you need to have a jar if you're not going to finish the project with that particular mixture. Otherwise it's going to go to waste. If you mix a large let's say I'm mixing a batch of large red and I'm not using it all, I want to make sure that I put it back in a glass jar and it is tightly sealed. I normally put a little plastic square thing on top of the jar and then seal it to make sure that it remains the wet of freshness as much as possible. But I would not recommend mixing large amount of the molding paste if you are not going to be using it. Now in this particular piece with the blue and the pictures, the main thing I want to show is that is mixable with other acrylic paints, and you can actually mix the colors. So you're gonna see when I'm applying the other colors, it will start taking the red and blue and it starts creating some purplish thing, depending on the pressure that I'm doing and how I'm mixing my paintings. And of course, I use a brush, but you can use the palettes. I have some artist friends that they say they had worked with the molding paste with palettes only. They have never tried it, creating the textures with other elements, like the credit cards and the wood pins and the chopsticks and the brushes. So that it will give you just a completely different effect. And you can see in here, when the red is touching the blue and I'm brushing it off, the purple is coming through on that combination. So making gives you an idea that you can actually blend them also, and you can do it directly on the canvas like I mentioned before. This is one of the samples. I did create several ones that you're gonna see um, um, at the end of the video the different textures once that they are dry, how they um, how they have a shrinkage percentage. So you want to make sure that you, if you are counting with some kind of volume or height in your art, that you don't get surprised on the drying process. Now, one thing that I did observe is when it is in a tacky stage, not too wet and not too dry, you can go over with another brush and or another palette and then build up more, and it just gives you an incredible amount of possibilities that you can build on your art with um with this flexibility. And what I like about the tracing paper is that it is going to, you see in here, I'm going to switch, but you see in here with the rubber stamp, it was too wet and the molding paste is staying on the stamp. You have to clean your stamps, your utensils, and your supplies immediately because it is a pain to trying to remove them later. So don't let them dry. So I have a bucket, a little of water in there. So I put my rubber stamp there, or you can have a wet sponge and then just have the rubber being soaked in while you get into the proper cleaning. So to create the stamping, I will say that I will have to play more. I will do another video, but it has to be in a little more drier stage than it was at the time when I was filming this video. So for the strips, the green strips, they are gonna come off and they are gonna expose the different sections. Also, what I was mentioning about this paper, that it is gonna dry translucent, so it has that translucity. So when I applying it into the mixed media, which I will do a video for this, um, it will just give them, you know, a little bit more character and presence in the artwork. I believe, at least that's what I'm thinking on my mind. You know, I'm maturing it on my thoughts. So this one is ready to be peeled off carefully so I don't rip off part of the molding. So I just go slow. And like I said, it can be dry to the touch, but if it is thick, I did not apply it too thick on this particular piece, but if it is thick, it is gonna mess up. So just give it plenty of time and observe the molding paste, especially, you know, according to your weather and where you live. Remember to subscribe, like, and comment on this channel. And please, let me know what else do you want to see. If you have any questions, let me know it. I'm creating in here more textures, more sheets with that particular ripple pattern, which seems to be more popular, and letting them dry so we can go ahead and I can create something else with them later. So it takes time because of the drying process. So I will select one afternoon and, you know, cut the pieces and then just create a whole bunch of stuff. But like I said, you can go ahead and work directly into your canvas and have fun that way. So looking forward to see your creations. Tag me, and I hope you enjoy this and they, you know, inspire you in some way. And remember, please subscribe, like, and comment. This is how you support this channel and the contents that I'm creating just for you. Thank you.